Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it is May 22nd, 2022. Don't know if I'll post this video, but I thought since I have to do some mowing, I have mowed once this season so far, but the grass has been growing like crazy, and there's some areas I haven't gotten to mow yet. So some places a couple of, well, 18 to 20 inches tall, I guess. So that's one of the things I'm going to do today. The Kubota Buzz is this Kubota's name, and Buzz is a ZD zero-turn diesel 1211 with a side discharge, and I made a video about that in the past about this piece of equipment, and so far it's been absolutely fantastic. Now I do need to clean this up, and we only have 29, close to 30 hours on it so far. I do have to keep the roll bar down because in the food forest I'm constantly bumping into low-lying branches and all. So I've got that down, and previously, so I've got my my Insta360 RS camera mounted here. So I'm going to shoot a little bit of video from this vantage point here. I did shoot some video from the camera being magnetically mounted right here. That's magnetically mounted up there as well. Just that since it's probably going to get smacked with something, I put a couple of cable ties on it to help hold it in place. But the thing is, so we'll see if I end up posting this video. I'll end up talking a lot about this at about 50 hours. When I do a full review, but right now at almost 30 hours, this has been absolutely fantastic. Mows beautifully. The hydraulic lift is foot controlled for the mower deck, which is so nice and easy. The suspension in the front is absolutely fantastic as well. Never flat tires on it, which I really like a lot. So there's an awful lot that I like a great deal with it, and I do promise to do a full review at some point in time. I've just been moving things around outside so that we've got room so I can move some of the cattle panels and those sorts of things, and T-posts, all of those things where I've got to do some mowing and all. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and take this guy out. The ground is very wet, I should say that. We had some thunderstorms last night, and we're supposed to get some more this afternoon. And we've had a lot of excessive heat for this time of year here in central New York. So one of my goals is to try and knock things down. I'm going to try not to go near any places that are going to get wet, but I thought I'd try and do a little bit of this work, get this, try to gain some ground on the lawn. So that's about it. Let's go mow. So one of my goals today is to compare the new zero-turn Kubota ZD1211 and talk a little bit about what I came from my Dixie chopper. But this motor in this small mower is the same as Thea's Mini-Me, the Kubota B2601, which is a really powerful little compact tractor that's become very valuable here on the property. Again, the camera that I'm using to record this is an Insta360 RS, and I have it mounted in two locations, up front and on the roll bar in the back. Kubota has been making zero-turn mowers for about 20 years or a little bit longer than that. One of the things with emissions and all that has changed over time is that the requirements for motors over 26 horsepower require a diesel particulate filter. And one of the ways of powering such a big mower, a 72-inch mowing deck, is to reduce the horsepower to below 26 horsepower. This saves the consumer, the purchaser, money, and because it's pretty expensive installing one of these deep diesel particulate filters, and it really does take up more space and adds more weight to it. So one of the things that Kubota, there's several things that Kubota has changed in this third generation or third iteration of this their zero-turn mowers. One is they got lower profile wheels that you could see. You could see with the hood flipped up on the engine in the back. It doesn't take up as much space as you might think. They have a new aerodynamic cutting system deck to reduce the horsepower by about 20%, and that allows them to take let's say a 31 or 32 horsepower Kubota motor and put in a 24.8 horsepower motor. And you can see there's a lot of bells and whistles that we're getting used to with this mower compared to the Dixie chopper. So we're making a transition from a little bit over 27 horsepower, lighter weight, heavy duty commercial Dixie chopper mower and going to this Kubota ZD1211. The comfort is absolutely amazing. It has the articulating front axle that also facilitates easy maintenance, so it can lift the front of the tractor up. There's easy access to the belts that are in the deck itself. This deck is actually powered by a power takeoff, a PTO shaft coming from the engine compartment, and so this is really a big advancement. The other thing is that it has dual fuel tanks with a ventilation system connecting both tanks. I'll talk a little bit about the new digital dash that it has as well, and the hydraulic system. But this motor puts out about 24.8 horsepower. You know, I have had questions about how efficient it is. It's really hard for me to judge how efficient it is because we mow when the grass is wet. We mow when the grass and weeds are really tall. With the Dixie chopper, I've always used that for the chop and drop. As I'm pruning trees in the food forest and all, I would just chop things up. Would I say that this is as powerful? I believe it may be, but I can't judge it yet because of the blades that are on it. I think the company blades, the OEM blades, could be better. I have purchased other blades, but we'll go over that in future videos. That articulating front end and that super comfortable seat really make this very, very comfortable. There's only one thing that I don't love about it is the side discharge rubber chute there. I'd love to be able to have it be a rear discharge, but it works out just fine. The engine, as I mentioned, is a diesel 24.8 horsepower liquid cooled engine. I'm so happy with the Kubota engines. The only engines that I think are comparable to these are the Yanmar engines. Their hydrostatic transmission is just fantastic. It's easy to work on. The hydraulic pump and the motors that drive the wheels are all integrated together, and because of this hydraulic integration into this single drive unit under the hood, one of the things that's so amazing is that it can also power the hydraulic lift for the deck. So it's a piece of cake, just a touching of the foot pedal and the deck lifts easily as well. So you have the 2 foot pedals. This Aerodynamic Cutting System Pro deck is lighter weight. The baffles are designed in such a way that has reduced weight, making it more efficient and therefore easier for the actual lower horsepower motor to operate this system. So I'm pretty impressed so far with everything about this. It's very comfortable. It's like driving a very tight vehicle. Handles extremely well. Because of the hydrostatic transmission and the weight of this, there is a lot of inertia, so you do have to back off. You can bump into something with this if you're not careful. With these low profile wheels, I was wondering how well it would handle on wet ground, and this is very wet ground right after rain that I'm mowing with now. You can see the articulating front axle there, so that's so that you can get under and clean under the deck. You can just crank that system. You can pop the floorboard to get easy access to greasing the system as well, and you can pull back the seat in order to see the transaxle that's there as well, and the hydraulics. So it's really super nice system for getting access to doing the maintenance. The maintenance requirements are much less. I like that it's not driven by a belt and pulley systems like the Dixie chopper is. I like that it's much more comfortable, much more tight fitting. When I say tight fitting, I mean the maneuverability. It's more like driving the Tesla Model Y or a high performance vehicle. Really hugs the terrain extremely well. Very little slippage. The dash here is pretty darn amazing. You've got a digital fuel gauge, you've got a battery voltage gauge, you have an hour meter on it, you have a coolant temperature as well, and you have a warning light in the lower left hand corner, the parking brake engaged, the neutral when the handles are the hydraulic control handles are in a neutral position so you can start it. PTO indicator shows whether the deck is active or not. And we have our glow plugs there, the temperature alarm if we were overheating, and a low fuel alarm as well. All of those things being integrated into this electronic dash are really neat. I'm not watching it all the time. I'm really focusing on what I'm doing as I'm working through on the property. The hydraulic and transmission system, I think, is quite an advancement over the 2-decade-old Dixie chopper that I had, with the hydraulic pumps and wheel motors being integrated together, and that allows them to have the hydraulic lift deck there as well. The hydrostatic wet PTO clutch is really for heavy-duty engagement of the mower deck itself. I think that's absolutely amazing. Not a push button, but a slide shift on the side. The engine is a D1105 1105cc motor, which is the same motor that produces 24.8 horsepower as Mini-Me, the Kubota B2601. The front suspension lift system that you could see in the images before is absolutely amazing. I think it's fantastic, but I love the ride that it gives you when you're going over uneven ground like we have here on our property. And I think that's about it for today's video. I thought I'd share some of my initial thoughts after just having about 30 hours of run time on it. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. And by all means, folks, take good care of yourselves and have a wonderful and safe day. Bye-bye now.